Imagine that one ordinary weekday morning, the Earth wakes up, without gravity. With a single button, someone has turned off the force that keeps you grounded, your mug on the table, and the moon in orbit. For 1 hour, everything with mass stops falling. People, animals, cars, teapots, sofas, everything, absolutely everything, begins to float in the air, as if someone has transformed the planet into a giant zero-gravity aquarium. The city awakens to chaos. Bicycles fly off balconies, pillows fly out of windows, and people themselves, before they even realize what's happening, literally float up to the ceiling, tumbling like astronauts, only without spacesuits. On the street, parked cars tear out of their spaces, as if someone had turned on anti-gravity mode in a game. Everything has become light, but the world hasn't. The first few seconds are the strangest. People don't scream. They don't make it. The brain simply doesn't understand that the body is no longer heavy. You take a step, and don't fall. You try to grab the table, but it flies along with you, as if it's decided it's no longer obligated to stand on the floor. Birds experience emotional trauma at this moment. They try to fly, but their wings no longer provide lift. They have nothing to lean on. They simply hang in the air, flapping their wings in vain, looking very confused. Cats, caught in zero-gravity mid-flight, hang in the most awkward poses, reminiscent of a pause in a cartoon. If you've been driving, congratulations, your car has turned into the worst blimp in history. Without gravity, the wheels lose their grip on the road, and the car slowly lifts off, spinning like a forgotten toy. People grab the steering wheel, even though it's no longer necessary, the car still won't respond. Buses become giant floating boxes, with passengers forming a single tangle of legs, arms, and bags. Subway trains, too, will lift off the tracks, and the tunnel. They'll hang in the air, while the passengers inside spin faster and faster until someone hits their head on the ceiling. Every little detail we don't notice begins to destroy the world. Drinks spill out of their glasses and turn into spherical balls that float around the room. Boiling water turns into fiery droplets that can easily burn. Plumbing starts to spew vertical fountains because the water doesn't fall straight down. Toilets, well, they just stop working. And most importantly, everything that was nailed, glued, or simply lying around comes loose. Nails no longer hold boards. Books fly off. Refrigerators crawl out of kitchens. People enter a state of total astral chaos. While the world inside homes falls apart, the streets turn into a slow carousel. People out for walks begin to climb higher and higher. Those who manage to grab onto trees, lampposts, or fences hold on. The rest slowly float away, like balloons, in a beautiful but frightening celestial procession. Dogs tied to leashes turn into kites on a string. Their owners desperately try to hold on to them, even though they themselves are hanging at a 45-degree angle and are about to break away. Workers at construction sites find themselves in the most absurd hell. Cranes stop lifting loads, they now lift them themselves, often much higher than they should. Tools fly off like rockets. People in hard hats grab onto anything anchored to the ground, and those who don't manage to do so are sent flying upward, entangled in safety ropes. Cement trucks start throwing concrete clumps into the air, turning them into crazy gray balls that fly around the site until they stick to someone's face. With each passing minute, the Earth begins to look more and more like a giant space station. Not because it's beautiful, but because everything begins to behave as if it were in zero gravity. Children who always dreamed of becoming astronauts are getting their moment of glory. They bounce off the walls and fly like real astronauts, and for the first time, their parents don't yell at them for it. But along with this comes a new problem. People who bounce too hard are sent flying upward into the atmosphere, and then they start having trouble breathing. Within 10 minutes, some people reach such a height that they rise above the high-rises. They see the entire city from an unexpected perspective, from top to bottom. It's beautiful, but terrifying. There's no gravity, but there is wind. And the wind begins to blow them sideways, like kites. Some try to grab onto passing signs, electrical wires, the corners of buildings, but without gravity, it's almost impossible to hold on. People become as light as napkins. As people rise above the clouds, a new, terrifying truth is revealed: a person can't breathe in thin air. Some begin to suffocate, others lose consciousness. But even loss of consciousness doesn't save them, the body continues to rise. Flight attendants on airplanes watch as passengers are lifted from their seats and slowly rise upward, hitting their heads on the cabin ceiling. Cans of soft drinks fly away before the people, they're lighter. Pilots lose control of the planes because the planes themselves are losing weight. It stops being pressed against the sky by the air and simply drifts like a giant metal bubble. Control vanishes. All the sensors show nothing, and navigation becomes meaningless. The plane transforms from a vehicle into a weightless bathyscaphe amidst the clouds. News reports around the world begin to show the same thing: cities where everything hangs in midair. Reporters hover in front of cameras, holding on to objects to keep from floating away. Newscasters literally cling to their desks as they continue reporting the latest news. And the national space agencies of various countries are trying to understand: if gravity has disappeared, what holds the atmosphere together? Without gravity, oil pipelines, water pipes, and gas systems cease to function. Gas floats into pipes where it shouldn't. Water stops moving. Electrical wires snap because they can't stay taut. Urban infrastructure, built to the specific laws of physics, simply gives up. The moon. Oh, the moon. Our faithful companion, usually held by Earth's gravity, suddenly realizes there's no one holding it. It's not falling, but it's not flying either. Its orbit instantly becomes unstable. It could drift in any direction. By the 30th minute, the Earth isn't a planet. It's a gigantic suspension of floating people, cars, houses, trees, fences, and the occasional grocery bag. Everything is mixed into a single, airborne mess. People realize that if they don't find a way to anchor themselves, they'll float away forever. The internet is filled with videos. Bloggers film themselves spinning in the air like slow-moving fans. People who have risen too high begin to realize that if gravity doesn't return, they'll simply fly off into space. They see a thin blue line of atmosphere below and feel the cold. Their breathing becomes shallow. Every panic attack makes the situation worse, because any movement pushes them even further upward. Animals aren't ready either. Cows rise slowly above the field, their hooves vibrating. Fish from rivers, no longer held by the current, are thrown upward in huge swarms. Bees hang motionless, trying to figure out how to function in a world where down no longer exists. Trees are torn from the ground, leaving huge holes. Drones, helicopters, airplanes, everything that relies on aerodynamics stops working. Unlike people, these machines are heavy, and if they're already in the air, they simply hover. If they're on the ground, they slowly lift off, like giant insects. The satellites, fortunately, don't fall. But the Earth begins to behave strangely. The lack of gravity temporarily destroys its shape. The planet swells slightly, because nothing holds its solid crust in place. All the stores are losing their merchandise. Food, boxes, candy, bottles, everything floats to the ceiling. Supermarkets are turning into giant aquariums, where apples, cereal boxes, and chicken legs float around shoppers trying to catch anything. Self-service has become impossible. Everything flies away faster than you can reach it. Nothing works the same way. You want to open the door. It floats away. You want to pick up your phone. It flies higher. You just want to walk into the room. You're stuck holding the doorknob. Life becomes a series of mistakes, as if you live in a world where the laws of physics have been switched off and the laws of comedy have been activated. When there are 10 minutes left before gravity returns, people have already resigned themselves to it. Some hold on to streetlights, some to tree roots, some to the armor of their cars. Others hang so high they can see the edge of the atmosphere. They hope for only one thing, that they're not too high. Because when gravity returns, everything will fall. And then, click. Gravity returns instantly. And the greatest rain in human history begins, a rain of people, cars, refrigerators, cats, cows, pillows, buildings, bicycles, sofas, tens of millions of random objects. A gigantic landfill falls upon the planet all at once. Cities suffer severe damage. Cars fall onto rooftops. People fall onto cars. Houses fall onto people who fell onto cars. Trees are driven into the ground, roots up. Countless people are injured. Hospitals are overwhelmed. But most importantly, no one could protect themselves from falling from a great height. People experience strange emotions. After an hour of weightlessness, ordinary heaviness feels suffocating. Walking is difficult. The brain, accustomed to free floating, experiences a kind of reverse seasickness. Some begin to miss weightlessness. Others are grateful that it's over. But no one feels the same. People walk on the ground again. They feel weight again. They go to bed again, because the bed is a bed again, not a potential catapult to the ceiling. But something has changed forever. Everyone who has lived through this hour has seen the fragility of the world. We only live because gravity decided to work today. And if it ever changes its mind, we'll have exactly 1 hour to say goodbye to Earth.